not for the money. You have already answered to the question, not for the money. I would like to separate those two questions. There exists love. Love can be demonstrated in different ways. But we know that what love for convenience, love for money is called. So let us not put these two things together, love and money. Let us separate those two. We are not going to hurt the feelings based on a quite complicated history. I mean, the countries of the global majority, the global south. Different political terms are used here. I do ask you, please, when it comes to these sensitive matters, do separate them. There certainly will be someone who will be happy to have upon the word game. Those, in order to organize a provocation, will wind up the spiral, and those will not serve your interests. That is why I ask you to understand perfectly that you live in the world full of provocations. So when someone is willing to have fun, to say a joke, to do it very sensibly and reasonably, and to not give any reasons and any pretext for a provocation. Economic indicators are one thing, and you are right when saying when these states, these countries of global south and global majority are tied to Russia with particular relations, history, love, mutual understanding, and all these things are inseparable from one another. Without knowing history, no one can truly understand each other. No one can reach the understanding which would be profound and genuine. Without understanding, no one can never speak of true and deep love. Let us remember that the countries that you mentioned, they are our natural allies when it comes to defending our social, cultural, civilization aspects. We are not united at this particular stage of history, but we are united because we have been fighting for these very values for a long time. We have tried different things, and we were proposed to try different things, and that is why we realized that there are true values and there are quasi-values. Those countries are committed to democratizing international life. They seek cultural and civilizational development. We are united by the thing that we do not accept dictatorship, enslavement, the rejection of modern practices of neo-colonialism, be that done directly when people are sold on slave markets, or be that new technological reality or new technological case when it comes to enslavement of people via new technologies and attempts to impose the so-called technological progress, and under this pretext, individuals are being tied by obligations and being put into direct dependency without equal access to new technologies and with no regard to the particular aspects of our historical development. We are united by the fact that we do not accept this. This is all based on our historical past and our mutual support, we do see huge potential for expanding interaction with the states of the global south, in particular with those who, like us, are subjected to systematic pressure from states with unfriendly governments. So for us, when it comes to practical cooperation, it is trade, finance, high technologies, security. You were right in saying when someone is proposing something bigger, but for us equality is important. Take a look at investment, take a look at the aid which is being offered by the West, and quite often it comes back through this diverse structure and system of funds and companies. They allocate funds, but eventually these are Western companies and enterprises who benefit from that. And this enriches the Western countries and not the peoples living and residing on particular territories of the region you have mentioned. Also, I would like to remind you that behind political term global majority and the global south, this is not mere a wording, this is not a monolithic community which is constituent of some particular titles and names. Those states are not homogeneous in political, economic, social, cultural, and civilizational aspects. This is a life fabric of contacts, developments, and to my mind, to conclude, our country is linked with most of those states by the desire to make independent domestic and foreign policy decisions, as well as support for the formation of a multipolar world order. The logic of exceptionalism, of selectiveness, is alien to us. Not in the form of ideals everyone should seek, but in the form of central philosophy for some particular states. We do not merely understand this. No, we do understand this, but this is foreign to us. We alienate ourselves from this logic. But we should not be separated from the global majority. We are a part of it. Thank you very much. My second question. Trump's statement in January 2025 about his intention to seize Greenland has returned the Arctic to the center of rivalry. How can the risks of militarization of the Arctic be assessed? Is the region turning into a new theater of the Cold War? I would not comment on those statements at this point. Those statements were made by Trump, indeed, but they were made almost 1 year ago. I would focus instead not on the public part of the discussion, but on the realities, and would analyze the NATO activities in the region. The strategic importance of the Arctic literally continues to grow steadily. At the representation of Western countries, the region, once distinguished by a special spirit of peaceful, constructive cooperation, is seen a rise in military political tension, and dangerous prerequisites are being formed for the intensification of rivalry. Even there, just look, under the pretext of countering mythical threats from the East. And now we are speaking about the Arctic. The US and NATO continue to follow a course of active militarization of the Arctic, strengthening their offensive potential. The European Union is adopting ever new packages of illegitimate anti-Russian sanctions, creating additional obstacles to the development of the Russian Arctic and international cooperation in the North as a whole. The entry of Finland and Sweden into the North Atlantic Alliance has resulted into an additional escalation of the situation. NATO is actively using the territory of the Arctic member states to increase the number of coalition forces and the intensity of combat training activities, adapting civilian transport infrastructure for military use. I would like to emphasize this for military use, deploying additional intelligence assets, allocating over $300 billion for the needs until 2034. This year alone, including in the immediate vicinity of Russia's borders, about 10 large-scale NATO maneuvers have been conducted in the region, including the annual nuclear deterrence exercises Statpas Noon 25 held this past October. This is not the matter of separate individual statements based on emotions or a political position. This should be analyzed as a whole. What infrastructure, what philosophy has been underpinning this very logic? The value of the Arctic for the Russian Federation can hardly be overestimated. Our country has never threatened anyone in the Arctic. It remains committed to international law, to the search for political diplomatic solutions for all emerging issues, including in the high latitudes. That is why we will continue to build an adequate line of response to threats and challenges to our security. At the same time, we consider this territory to be the territory of peaceful exploration and cooperation. Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? If no more questions, then see you next time. Thank you very much. All the best to you.
Получше.